So I'm about to show you 3 different fillings that you can use in Sandflail to drastically change up the weight and how it moves. Because obviously with this 11-inch Sandflail, quite big and bulky, so to get that, if you fill that with sand, that's going to be a pretty heavy weight that not a lot of people are going to be able to swing like a mace pretty easily. So again, too challenging, but to get a good bulk in the Sandflail, like whether it be like a quarter way, halfway, they tend to swing a little better and a bit more challenging the higher you fill them. But obviously you need to get some sort of experience and build up the strength to be able to do that. So I'll show you 3 different fillings that I use. So for instance, this one here is an 11-inch Sandflail, and this is only loaded to 6 kilograms. And what I'm using is this. So essentially it's like rubber mulch, crum rubber stuff, small 6mm diameter things. So that gives you this nice big bulk, so you can do swinging, you can do the catching stuff, you can even do the kettlebell style movements. I'll probably fill this a little bit higher than a lot of people would, but so for 6 kilos in this, it gives you the nice big feel, almost like a Persian meel sort of feel. You can do a lot of the movements, and that's not too challenging for me. And then you can do your standard swing. Now I will mention, if you fill these up to like this height with a light weight, it does want to sort of spin on you when you're swinging it, which just adds this extra challenge. But you just have to have a little bit more control and thought in that to try not let it overspin. But it's kind of cool. I quite like the challenge because it means you just have to use a bit more control and your grip has to be slightly better. But this light weight is perfect for beginners or for people who just want to, experiment with a larger bulk in the Sandflail. Your catching, swipes, and it's even for me, like this sort of opens up a few new doors for movements while still having that bulk to play around with. Because I would I be doing one-hand mills with this if it was sand. But that feels really good. So that's the crum rubber mulch. Here I'm using rice. Rice is something I really like because it's pretty much half the weight of sand. The rubber mulch needs to be a good bit less, like more towards quarter the weight of the sand. So this is loaded to, I think, 7.5 kilos. Yeah, 7.5 kilos. Again, 11-inch Sandflail. And it gives me that bulk, but is, a bit more weight than the rubber. So I can still do all, but I can definitely you have to feel that more than the rubber. So yeah, you've got your rubber, then you've got the rice, which is like your step up. Again, keeps the bulk, so you can do all the movements you see me doing on the Instagram feed and YouTube and that. And then we have, so this is sand. This is loaded up similar to what the rice was, but instead of the 7.5 kilos, it's now 12.5 kilos. So significantly heavier. And so look at that. Sand, 12.5 kilos. The rubber is 6 kilos, and it's about double, almost a double amount of material. So this becomes quite challenging. This is sort of the weight I like to work with if I'm using an 11-inch for swinging movements. At 25 pounds-ish. But it is definitely more challenging. When you come to doing the mace movements like 360s or the 4 to 8s, the 10 to 2 sort of equivalent for Sandflail, even just this, the sand really comes into its own. When you're doing, heavier strength movements, or if you want to load it up to full capacity and do, like some compound movements or light strongman movements. But here the rubber again, so much fun for just flown around. Even just one-handed sort of spins. I don't have much space here. One-handed spins feel really good. You can really sort of experiment with movements with this. And again, even if you fill this up with rubber, pretty much to the top, you could, beginners could be doing compound movements. If you're injured, then this will work really great. If you've got tendonitis, like I suffer from really bad tendonitis my whole adult life, and the Sandflails and Indian clubs is pretty much the thing that's helped me out to the point where I barely feel pain at all. And if I do, it's because I'm not doing anything to strengthen the muscles supporting here. It's just so much fun with the rubber. And if you put the rubber into the small Sandflails, like a 6-inch that I've got here, or a 7-inch, then you're going to have a really, this is loaded with sand, which is light within itself. But if you put rubber in here, whether that weight, that bulk, or up to here, you can have so much fun doing, experimenting with light Indian club stuff. So yeah, so you got your rubber, rice, and you've got your sand. I also like to use, I've got some water bladders. I've got like a 6 kilogram water bladder, and a 8 kilo one. So you can basically put the water bladder into your Sandflail, fill up the water bladder, and yeah, you've got 6 or 8 kilos worth of water, or wherever you want to fill it to. So yeah, that's the things I use. The rubber mulch is brilliant for movement and beginners, or if you just want to mess around. The rice is sort of that good intermediate, giving you the bulk that you need to do some movements, but half the weight of sand. And then you have the sand, which is just, that's the heavy. You can use steel shot as well. I have ordered some steel shot to experiment with, and I've used, I think, 5 kilograms of steel shot and a few of the smaller Sandflails, which works really good. So yeah, you got your rubber, water, rice, and sand, and you can use steel shot. So whatever you want to do. And like I said, because I've got a few Sandflails, if you have a few Sandflails with either the same weight or different weights, you can experiment with it, figure out what you like, and have them all filled up ready to go. Or like me, I've got boxes where I've got all these different things stored, where just depending on the day, if I want to change it up or put a mixture of something in there, it's good fun. So yeah, just a little example of what you can use in Sandflail.